Hello, everyone, and welcome to our another session of the Global Leader. And today we have a very special guest with us, Praveena K. And she is the founder and CEO of Virtual Assistants Asia, a certified generative AI professional CGAP, advisory board member of the Global Skill Development Council, and a corporate trainer working with organizations across Southeast Asia. Her journey spans education, business development, digital marketing, talent development, leadership training, and AI transformation. Having trained thousands of professionals, leaders, entrepreneurs, and young talents, she is passionate about helping people develop future ready skills and thrive in the human plus AI era. Today's discussion will focus on key skills development and how to successfully implement these skills in real life and the workplace. So, please join me in welcoming Ms. Pravina. Hello, Pravina, how are you?
Hi, Sina. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay, would you like to share some brief introduction about you?
I think I'll dive into the slide because it's entirely about my journey, so it will be more interesting. I think you've said well about everything about me right now.
Okay, Pravina, so your career journey spans education, research, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and AI. What were the most important skills that help you navigate this transition successfully?
I would say running a business with all of this because my background is coming from the business, and this is where all the AI and then the research and everything is integrating, right? So I would say running the business with these multi skills matters so much, and for that, definitely I would say one of the skill that I still hold on to is resilience, being resilient, in everything that we do. That's a great skill, actually.
Okay, that was very interesting. And if you move forward, looking back at your early career, which skill created the biggest turning point in your professional growth?
Content writing, I would say, because my entire thing is actually built in content writing, my branding, my business and everything. So I would say writing is a fundamental skill when it comes to business.
That's impressive. Um, if we talk about the young people, so many young people feel overwhelmed by the number of skills they should learn. Like you have done the content writing and you're into writing things. So,
Right.
if someone is starting today, what three skills should they prioritize first?
One, definitely interpersonal skill. It's about ourselves, how we engaging with the things and around us emotionally and also intellectually as well, I would say, in between of that. Second is definitely one niche skills that you should have. In my case, I prefer writing. Some people might prefer music or something else, right? It depends on their niche, I would say. The third one, I would say, definitely a skill of training your mindset to be there. I would say growth mindset. It's not entirely skill, but managing the mindset is definitely a skill, I would say. You know,
So, mindset is the key.
definitely, definitely.
So, if you often work at the intersection of human and AI, what
Yeah.
skills do you believe? Okay.
Sorry.
So, what skills do you believe will remain valuable regardless of how fast technology evolves?
Self learning, because no matter how technology is evolving and everything, if the human is not putting a skill of learning every single thing, I wouldn't say you have to learn a lot and maximize it. I would say at least try to learn a little from a lot. At least you'll know what is the gist happening around you, the newses or the upgrades that is happening. We are not technical people to understand entirely about it, right? So, but at least a gist of it, because it will help us to have a conversation with many industry leaders, that would say, because at least you can be part of a networking session to have a thoughts with it or engage with it. At least you know the jargon of the things that is happening, this kind of thing.
Okay, that was very informative, Pravina.
Thank you.
Um, how can students and young professionals identify the gap between the skills they currently have and the skills employers actually need?
How? Okay, repeat the question first. The first half.
Okay, how can students and young professionals identify the gap between the skills they currently have and the skills employers actually need?
I would say try to be part of a lot of subject matter experts profile, especially on LinkedIn, because I build my profile strongly on LinkedIn. And if you want to know what academically you have and what as an employer wants it for you got to follow a lot of subject matter expert, especially on the niche that you wanted it, because a
Mhm.
lot of news is going out. You have to know, okay, this is what happening. Sometimes we believe that one piece of paper, which is your degree as a piece of paper, is enough for you to get a job. Definitely no. We are not in the era of, you have a degree, you'll get a job. No, there are a lot of people jobless right now, even though you're a PhD holder or you're a master holder, you name it, and you got experience of 16 years, 15 years, 20 years, this kind of thing. So I would say it's definitely understanding what's happening in the world, and for that you definitely have to follow industry leaders. For that, I would say you have to be in platforms that you can get this kind of knowledge, real life knowledge. No more like slides, going through the ODL method on online distance learning. I'm not saying, I'm saying the real life failures, attempts from people. They will say, hey, how does the 20 years ago human resources industry or department was, and now right now how is it going on? A lot of things.
Okay. So, what is the difference between learning a skill and becoming truly competent in that skill? So, what's the difference between it?
Execution, I would say, because we can learn anything if you really put heart and soul to it, because it's the end of the day, it's academic mindset. Some people good at memorizing, some people good at grasping the information very fast and everything, right? But if you ask me how you implementing it, how you executing it, and from there you either have to make money out of it or you have to make a good experience out of it. If you can achieve these two things, money and experience, then that means it's a really incredibly good way of executing whatever you are learning. If you're not making neither of it, like money or even experience, then there's something wrong in the whatever we are learning.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Um, would you share a practical framework you use when helping professionals develop new skills effectively?
um, I like Bloom's taxonomy, something related to academically learning. That is, of course, execution side. But more has a human practically to learn about the skills or execution it. I would say that keep yourself updated every single time. Like, don't wait once a year of academic, learning something, or 6 months later. No, even an AI tool that we are talking a lot nowadays, right? It has updates every single week. So if you are using that and you are being a team lead or a head of department and you're not knowing what is happening in your industry with a particular tool that your organization is using it or whatever it is, then there is something lacking. There's something wrong there. So I would say that keep update yourself. You got to be updated. Like I said earlier, you don't have to learn a lot about it. At least a little about it, time to time. Yeah.
And one common challenge is that people learn a lot but struggle to apply it. What do you think this happens? Why do you think this happens?
Because I feel like it's overpopulating the skills. People think that every single certificates will help you. I think no, I wouldn't say. If you stick to every single certificate in the same niche, yes, because every niche will upgrade time to time. So you're learning the specific niche from level one, level two, level three, or maybe 2024 it was different, it'll be the same niche that you know, and 2026 is different. Don't tell me like for a while you're learning about uh, coding and then suddenly you're learning about plumbing, it's jumping. So we can't see yourself in one umbrella. You're in everywhere. So this is something I would say you got to sound it out.
Okay. So, what steps can someone take to immediately implement a newly learned skill in their daily work or studies?
Immediately, I would say please attend a lot of free AI courses. Not everything has to pay money, sit for weeks or hours or days for it. There's a lot of express courses that are happening and with certification by good known bodies. So better grasp those things, those gold mines.
Okay. So, what's on your thought on that? That it says that AI is taking the jobs.
Please don't do. I've been hearing this for past 2 3 years. I think ever since I've been training on AI for people and everything. AI will never take away your job. Someone good at AI definitely will take over job. That's for sure. I mean, if you are better at whatever that I'm doing with a little bit of knowledge of AI, you will just sweep it off my thing. I'll be still sticking wherever I was before this, right? So this kind of thing. So I don't believe in that myth, and I don't really encourage. Whenever I hear that, I feel like cringe or disgusted about it. I always say that AI will never over anyone's job. Someone who good at AI, they will do that
Progress.
definitely.
Okay. Okay. That was very informative. And can you share an example where applying one specific skill created miserable results for a business, team, or individual?
Again, right now in the era of AI era age that we are right now for past 3 4 years, right now I would say easily, definitely a skill of learning AI tools specifically for the department. Don't Some people even saying AI means ChatGPT. No, artificial intelligence is not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just a deep learning LLM, which is underneath of it as a tool, right? So I would say that every department, like you are HR, I'm a finance, and we have a operation team, and then we have a management team. We all cannot use one AI tool. We got to use our specific niche of AI tool, which will transform the progress in our career, organizations, growth, and everything, right? So I would say we need to understand that not one tool for everyone. No, it's a specific. Certain department only need this specific tool, so they got to have that tool. Like example, just to give you add to it, right? If you are in a finance department or reporting writing departments, right, whatever you call it, operations or management, right, they need to come up with what they call it, graphs, analytics to say your quarter one success, quarter two budgets, or something like that. For that, they can use Julius. It's one of the AI tool that will make graphs, pie charts, or whatever is it. We are not in an era to go and put your pie chart and create yourself. We are not in that era anymore, and we are not in the era just ask your Claude to do a slides for you, and where it's you have to keep prompting it. This is overlapping, this is not okay, this is a double work. But we do have a specific AI for that itself, where it's going to be two dot whatever you're going to ask for it. So this particular tool which I mentioned, Julius, I don't think so a technical or software department needs that. I don't think so HR needs that. But definitely somebody who's doing budget reportings or report writing department, they needs that. So organizations or individual, they need to understand one AI tool will never sort out the entire organization. Every department need a specific AI tool for them. So for that, I think organization have to fund in and understand, okay, this is what fundamental to make the particular thing more progressive and more productive, I would say.
Okay. So you have to be updated. You have to.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the information from Pravina. It was really worthy. And how important is communication in turning technical knowledge into real impact? What do you think about it?
This is something very much lacking, a communication thing. Communication is one of the skill, which is again another fundamental skill everybody should have. Now that we should understand, in one company or one organization we have 4 to 5 generations working. I would stick to four first. The five is Gen Alpha. We keep it to four, which is from baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and followed by Gen Zs right now. So when these four people in one umbrella, you just think about the jargons we're using, the culture that we have. How does the communication going to be? It's not going to be efficient. It's not going to be fluent enough. When I say not fluent enough, it's not by English wise. I'm saying even to have the ease up to talk. Because some people might have ego authority problem. Some people might have straight and blunt things. Some people be like very quiet in the middle because they're handling two different generation at the being middle. Like millennials, we can do Gen Z, we also can do Gen X, and we also can understand baby boomers thing. So you are in the midst of understanding these multi generations working together, right? So this is where the communications comes in. And as much as learning and departments are doing a lot of learning and development departments are doing a lot of trainings, right, in AI for this, AI for that, and everything. I would say you still have to do communication training time to time. because people are getting confused with multiple streams of connecting the communication. Like you and me, we are connected on emails, we are connected on WhatsApp. The same thing. We are speaking here, we're speaking there. In between, we do have your managing director in between us. So we itself is facing that much of hiccups. Then you just think about it in an organization that's running more than 50 people, or to give it more blunt thing, your own SED's community. You just think about how you guys are actually communicating it. So many things, so many hiccups we are going through that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm not
Um,
I'm not bashing. I'm just telling the truth that we are facing nowadays because of multi generations working together, right?
yes,
Communication
yes.
is definitely
It is
disrupted.
true, and it is like it's strange, and I mean, it is developed at the same time.
Yeah,
So much.
it's a mix of it. Some people open enough to accept it, regardless of whatever generation they belong to. Some people
Mhm.
like they stick to the same stigma that no, we do this for 40, 50 years. You're gonna stick to this, and we be like, why we should stick to it when we have a better things to offer, right? So they will say it as a, oh, it's organization governance. It's an ethical way of using it. So where is the updated thing is going on? Where's the era of updates? So are we still going to be in a rock time or a stone age? I don't know. You know,
So, with AI becoming part of every industry, how should professionals balance technical AI skills with human centered skills? As a professional, how do you balance these things?
I would say that in my scope of it, technical skills a bit mild because I'm mostly running the thing. But I'll definitely will understand how my team is progressing on the technical side. That's for sure. And then when you ask me that how it's overlapping and how we're gonna do it is definitely understanding whether how much it's needed for us to execute it. I don't think so. A software or a backend department kind of AI knowledge, HR should have it. No, but knowing a little is still okay because we need to understand their jargon. When they say something, we should understand. Oh, this is what they're talking about, and they should understand. Oh, this is what the problem is. Because if not, two different departments will have two different world is quarreling between them. So this kind of thing, and that's how I actually work, because sometimes some clients will come and ask me certain things and I look at it, this is not my jargon and I don't even understand, but sometimes I'm open to ask them directly. Sometimes if I have a time or whatever, I'll just Google and understand, oh, this is okay, this is okay, sometimes. But you can't rely 100% on the Google, because certain company and organization, they themselves have a different jargons within them, so we need to understand. It's better to ask away rather than you complicating yourself by thinking, is it this or is it that, the kind of thing.
Okay. So, moving forward, what leadership skills will become most important in the human and AI workplace?
I would say effective leadership and also empathetic leadership. That is something lacking. Empathy is a bit gone away, I think. I wouldn't say humanity. Humanity, I think it's too far for us to touch, but empathy in a work culture itself is very lack. And then effective leadership, because most of the leadership is very much incompetent, or I would say poor leadership, due to the same cycle of governance, or like the same stigma. They will say we've been doing this for 40 years, 50 years, this kind of thing. So this particular phrases itself will fall at poor leadership. So I would say leaders should be more effective and more adaptive. You should okay to open the ears and listen to Gen Zs or millennials thing, rather than bringing their title or ego of their age factors. I believe so
So,
many people will be angry at me if anybody is maybe watching this, they'll be like, okay, this girl is bashing us. But yeah,
no,
that's what's
I
happening.
guess, yeah, this is the truth. I
Yeah.
mean, this is it is.
Yeah.
So, what mistakes do you commonly see professionals make when trying to upskill or reskill themselves?
They limit it. They will limit it. They will be like, I wouldn't say professional alone, because most of the time organizations are offering that already. It's become a part of their CSR project or something for that team to attend, right? They'd be like, oh, we already attended AI training last year, we don't need it today. Like, that's one of the example. Yeah, you did it like when the AI born around us, probably 2023, 2024, just to have the gist of it. But 2026, a lot of things has changed. Initially, one AI tool everybody was speaking about is Gemini and ChatGPT. But now you tell me how many AI tools is there? So it's like 4,000 plus of tools, 4,000 plus of tools. So you imagine you don't want your team to be updated. So this is something I realized that they are too comfortable that, oh, I already know this already. I already did this in my organization, so we don't have to do that again. This mindset you have to change it. Like I said, the communication skill. Just because you have trained them 1 year ago on communication skills, that doesn't mean the next year you shouldn't do, because things might change. Yeah.
So, what differs the professionals and the beginners? The one who is thinking to start up it, and what can be learned from a professional one?
Professionals like myself, I'm already training the same thing, but at the same time, if there's a course that related to the same thing that I'm doing, I'll still attend it. So that is about individual decision. I would say some people will like, I'm too comfortable, I already know about it, and I'm training people on this. I don't want to have another certification on that. But wherein for people like me, probably they will like self-learn again and again, just to remind you, your brain to have a refresh, or what other things have changed. Of course, you don't do a course or something that is 2 3 years ago, you're doing it now. Something fresh is just released a month ago by a Google or something, some certifications. I'm okay to reset it, even though I myself as a trainer doing that, right? So, but as a beginner, I would say go from scratch. Just because you already have a degree on something that is super intelligent, and then you'll be like, okay, I don't have to do this foundation. So, because any certification you do, they have foundation, intermediate, and then they have advanced. So they might think, okay, I know I have done degree, so I don't have to go foundation. Let me go to intermediate, or straight away jump to advanced. That's the biggest mistake we are doing, because degree is degree. It's a totally different ball game, if you understand that. And when it comes to professional certification, skills update is totally different. It's a very niche. So you got to be, degree is a whole ball of whatever you're learning about it. But when it comes to certification, it's specific, just one stigma that you're going to learn about it, right? And you got to learn from scratch to understand what entirely it's about. So this is something I believe that beginners and professional need to understand. And so, and like I said, end of the day, it's also varied upon individual, because this got nothing to do with the organization. This is an individual decision. They will be like, okay, I'm capable to do this, I'm capable to do that. So yeah.
Okay, that was beautiful insights.
Thank you.
And would you like to share any slideshow or any PPTX you want to?
I just want to go through a little bit of what exactly I do, at least people will have an idea why is she talking this and what her overlap on the works and everything. So it's a quick run through. May I share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, you can see my screen, right? Hello.
I think we can see the screen now. Yes. It's
Okay,
visible.
so again, hi to everyone. Earlier, you asked me, give me a little bit introduction of it, because I literally prepare entirely what I do, so that some people have a gist of it. So I'm going to introduce myself again. So I'm Pravina K, and I'm founder and CEO of Virtual Assistant Asia. And I would like to start this with a confession. When I first started, I would say like maybe about 5 years ago, I had no plan, like no brand roadmaps or no investors, no mentors handing me a golden key to run the business. Okay, what I had was the ability to spot the problems. That is the only thing that I had, and of course, I had the stubbornness to turn them into something. So a little bit on my background of education, I did teaching, and I didn't want to go back. Not go back. I really never teach in school, so I didn't want to be a teacher or something. That was my perception that I had. So this is what the whole thing, how I started my business. And so this is my company. This is a thing that I do. Virtual Assistant Asia has two pillars actually. You can see the screen, right? Okay. So
Yes.
one, we provide human plus AI staffing solution. We connect business with the right talent or powered by smart system. We do that. Two, we run a training arm focused on building the skills, which is one of our topic today, and the market that actually needs, and AI fluency, productivity, leadership and future readiness. This is the integration of it. And why these two together? I would say because I realized early that you can solve a problem. Okay, you can't solve entire thing. You can't. But with just technology, right? You can't solve everything, and you can't solve a skills problem with just training. If you understand these two things, right? So I would say that when these two integrations comes in, things has been really different. It really goes hand in hand together. So that is the main reason I came up with these two arms. So this is the two arms, virtual assistance and also training. And how I recognize the opportunities, I would say that I see the real life examples around me. One of the more easiest thing, like you said, I'm a research assistant and everything, right? I actually didn't finish my degree in research. So it was someone just saw my profile of content writing and everything, and she just said, "Hey, there's a research thing. Would you like to do?" And I said, "I don't have a degree on that. I don't think so. I can do that." Then from there, they actually give me a good leadership. This is where the good leadership thing comes. She said, "I'll give you 1 week time to learn and see whether you can execute it or not. If you can, we stick to it. If you not, and it's fine." But somehow there's a thing of me learn fast and understand the thing was there, so I able to do that. So this is where I try to explore multiple skills at a time. I feel like I'm capable enough to understand certain things very fast, and I'm okay to adapt to it. So this is where the entire process of learning multiple skills comes with me, and I try to execute that in a business, like where I can make it as a cloud business. So I made it one. And then from here, I understand that a business means you definitely need something to handle it, which is your mindset. I would say you must have a problem solving mindset, and your customer and market feedback is very important if you're running a business. And trends and gap observation. This is where AI comes in. You really have to use it. This is a technique that I use, these three techniques, which I will encourage whoever is working for a company or even starting a business. These three things will happen actually. Then from here, I would say how my business or anything that I do revolve is definitely opportunity. From opportunity, definitely I will work on with any action that comes in my mind, and I will understand what worked and what not working, and then from there I will implement the challenges that I'm facing. Sometimes the challenges might be from my clientele side, sometimes it can be from the internal side. So I will try to exhibit from that particular part. And then anything you do, being a company owner or not working for an organization or something, I would say build your network and also have partnership. That matters so much. If you don't do that, you can't excel more, even in the knowledge wise, whatever knowledge you have. I would say connect with many people, and make sure the people that you're connecting is actually fruitful enough to give you real life examples for you to go in your departments or your forte or your niches. This is what matters so much. And then I would say impact on my business is definitely growth. I'll make sure there's a it's not stagnant, and of course the decision that I'm making, I will see whether is it making it moving forward or is it stagnant again. And credibility, whatever things that I do, I make sure that the skills or anything we're learning, right, it should be credible enough for us to serve it as a service or even as a product. And yeah, it's the whole key story of whatever that I do. And the challenges and lesson that I have is fear of missing out, FOMO, I would say. I still have that. And rejection. If you're starting a business, rejection comes with it as a package, and you should able to go through that. And then the last one is consistency. Keep trying and trying, no matter how many times falling, how many times things doesn't work. You work on with them. I don't have much advice, but I'll definitely say spot opportunities and try to build your network, because network is something that lately I understand it actually makes you go places and your voice can be heard. With that said, thank you so much. I just want to end with this one note. My favorite quote is this: "Your network is your net worth." So keep networking.
That's beautiful. This quote is seems like it's gonna be my favorite too.
Yeah.
So it says, "Your network is your net worth."
Yes,
That's
definitely.
so
Every
impressive.
every networks that we have will convert it. It's like a seed. You will plant your connection today, but you never know it will bloom today. But one day you never expect it will bloom for nowhere. So every network that we are talking to will be a network.
That's beautiful, Pravina. And if you would leave our audience with one message about skill development and lifelong learning, what it would be and why? Last message.
I would say self learning is matters so much, and why? Because learning has no ending. Well, by learning the skills, mannerism, uh, networks, even that by learning, because when I say learning, it's not just modules or exams. I said, like I said, in LinkedIn, the subject matter expert that we are connecting to, we are learning a lot from people as well. So definitely keep learning and try to learn by yourself any hobbies or something, try to execute it because it's every skills that we do will navigate through one to by one.
Okay, so me, Sneha Agarwal. Today's session we are going to end now, and with our beautiful host, with her beautiful insights, we are ending today's session. Hope we will see Pravina on our board again. Thank you so much, Pravina.
Thank you.
Okay.